It seems like everywhere you turn these days, AI is popping up,
Yeah.
from the music we listen to the way we shop online. It's kind of wild, really.
Hmm.
And it's got me thinking about, well, all of us, but especially how this generation, the one growing up completely immersed in this tech, how are they going to shape AI's future? So we're diving deep into AI and teenagers by Ellis Mbeku to get into all that.
And I think what makes Mbeka's perspective so interesting is, he's not just an expert, right? He's a parent grappling with these same questions, and it really comes through in his writing. It's personal.
Totally. And he doesn't waste any time getting to the heart of it either. Like, one of the things that really jumped out at me was how AI could transform education. Can you imagine, like, instead of the one-size-fits-all model we're used to, learning can be completely personalized?
It's a really powerful idea, and he gives some really concrete examples. Like, Mbeka talks about AI tutors that can provide individualized support, The tutor can pinpoint exactly where a student's struggling and adjust the lesson to help them grasp it. And it's not just about, like, fixing problems. He talks about tailoring the entire learning experience, the content, the pace, everything, to match how each student learns best.
Wow. It's like almost straight out of science fiction. But it's getting closer and closer all the time. And of course, Mbeku doesn't just shy away from the potential downsides. I mean, he drops this really jarring statistic: 800 million jobs lost to automation by 2030. It definitely makes you stop and think about what kind of world we're preparing young people for.
Yeah, it's a serious concern. And he doesn't sugarcoat the possibility of job displacement. But Mbeku also stresses that whenever there's a big technological shift, like what we're seeing with AI, the job market changes. Always has, right? So yeah, some jobs might disappear, but new ones are going to be created, jobs that require skills AI can't replicate, at least not yet. Things like creativity, critical thinking, complex problem solving, these uniquely human skills.
Right, right. It's about adapting. And that reminds me of something else Mbeku talks about, those algorithms that seem to be everywhere these days, especially on social media. It can be kind of freaky how well those platforms seem to know us, sometimes better than we know ourselves. And he raises some really important questions about data privacy and the possibility of bias in AI, especially when it comes to teenagers who, let's face it, are still figuring things out, still developing those critical thinking skills.
And here's where Mbeku's take on all this gets, like, really interesting. He doesn't want teens to just, survive the AI revolution. He wants them to be the ones steering the ship.
No, that's what I'm talking about. So it's about more than just like knowing how to use the tech. It's about really understanding it at a fundamental level.
Exactly. Mbeku calls it AI literacy, and he doesn't just throw the term around lightly. He goes deep on what that means. It's about giving young people the knowledge and the skills not only to use these AI tools, but to actually understand how they work, their limitations, even their ethical implications.
So they can be like informed creators in this new world,
Hmm.
not just passive users, right?
Right. Right. And what I find so compelling is that he doesn't see this as, like, some far-off utopian vision. Mbeku points to real-life examples, like teenagers already using AI to power their own creative projects, even launch their own businesses. He tells this story about a student who used AI to design and launch a whole sustainable clothing line, selling stuff globally, all from their bedroom.
Oh, wow. That is incredible. It's like so inspiring to see what's possible with this technology. It's like it really can level the playing field. But I'm also thinking, where do you even start with all this? It can be kind of overwhelming for anyone, but especially if you're just starting out, right?
Yeah, it makes you wonder, like, with all this talk about AI literacy and empowering young people, who's actually responsible for making sure that happens? Like, how do we prepare this generation for a future so intertwined with AI? It's the big question, isn't it? And Mbeka's pretty clear on this point. It's not just on the kids themselves to figure it all out. He really emphasizes that it takes a village. Parents, educators, even the tech companies, we all have a role to play.
So it's about building a support system,
Right.
an environment where this kind of learning and exploration can actually flourish. What would that even look like?
Well, Mbeku suggests that parents, for example, can have a huge impact just by encouraging their kids to, be more than just passive consumers of tech. Let them tinker with AI tools, ask questions, experiment. It's about nurturing that natural curiosity kids have and giving them opportunities to get hands-on.
Right, to become creators, not just users.
Exactly. And when it comes to schools, Mbeku is a big advocate for making digital literacy a core part of the curriculum. Just like we teach math and science and history, he believes understanding how algorithms work, recognizing bias, thinking critically about the ethics of it all, that's got to be up there with the essential 21st century skills.
It's like giving them the tools they need to navigate this new world responsibly. And I really appreciate how Mbeku doesn't let the tech industry off the hook either.
Oh, absolutely not. He makes a strong argument that tech companies, they have a responsibility to bake ethical considerations into AI from the ground up, ensuring things like transparency, fairness, user privacy. And he stresses that this is especially crucial when you're talking about young users.
It really does feel like a call to action for all of us. Whether you're a parent, a teacher, a tech CEO, heck, just someone living in this world, it's becoming more and more obvious that AI is impacting all of us. And we all have a part to play in shaping what that impact looks like.
He leaves us with this thought, and I think it's so powerful. If AI is the paintbrush, he writes, what will this generation paint on the canvas of the future? It really sticks with you.
It does. And it's a good reminder that even though AI might be the one transforming the world as we know it, it's still up to us, especially this next generation, to decide what we want that world to look like. And that's something worth thinking about, talking about, working towards together.